I'll just say one thing, get ready for what's coming, because Morocco is far more surprising and way crazier than you might think. And by the time we get to the final facts, you'll understand exactly what I mean. 50. Morocco touches two major bodies of water. Morocco is one of the rare African countries that has coastlines on both the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. This unique geographical position gives the country two completely different coastal personalities. The Atlantic coast, where cities like Casablanca, Essaouira, and Agadir are located, is shaped by strong currents and dramatic waves, while the Mediterranean coast near Tangier and Al Hoceima is quieter and more temperate. This dual access has made Morocco a historic crossroads for explorers, traders, and naval powers for more than 2,000 years. 49. The Sahara Desert covers nearly one-third of the country. Almost 30% of Morocco's total land area is part of the Sahara Desert, the largest hot desert in the world. The Moroccan Sahara is especially famous for the Erg Chebi and Erg Chigaga dunes, where sand mountains can rise up to 150 meters high. These deserts are not just endless sand, they include rocky plateaus, dried salt lakes, hidden oases, and ancient caravan routes that connected West Africa with North Africa for centuries. 48. Morocco has snow-capped mountains in Africa. Few people realize that Morocco is one of the only African countries where you can see snow regularly. The Atlas Mountains, especially the High Atlas Range, receive significant snowfall every winter. In fact, Morocco is home to Oka Imeden, the highest ski resort in Africa, located just a short drive from Marrakesh. This creates a surreal situation where you can experience desert heat and snow-covered peaks within the same day. 47. Mount Toubkal is the highest peak in North Africa. Mount Toubkal, located in the High Atlas Mountains, stands at 4,167 meters, 13,671 feet, making it the highest mountain in all of North Africa. Despite its impressive height, it is considered one of the most accessible high-altitude treks in the world. Thousands of climbers reach its summit every year, where they can see panoramic views stretching as far as the Sahara on clear days. 46. Morocco has one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities. The city of Fez is often considered one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. Founded over 1,200 years ago, Fez is home to Fez El Bali, a medieval medina that contains more than 9,000 narrow streets and alleys. This ancient urban landscape has largely remained unchanged for centuries and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe and leave a like to become an expert on the geography of our world. 45. The Blue City was painted for spiritual and practical reasons. The iconic blue city of Chefchaouen wasn't painted blue just for beauty. The tradition began with Jewish refugees in the 15th century who associated blue with spirituality and reminders of the sky. Over time, locals also noticed that the blue tones helped repel insects and kept buildings cooler in the summer heat, turning the entire city into a geographic and visual landmark. 44. Morocco is only 14 kilometers from Europe. At its narrowest point, the Strait of Gibraltar separates Morocco from Spain by only 14 kilometers, 8.7 miles. On exceptionally clear days, you can see the mountains of southern Spain from the Moroccan city of Tangier. This tiny distance has made Morocco and Europe deeply interconnected throughout history, from ancient Roman trade to modern migration and commerce. 43. The Draa Valley is the longest river valley in Morocco. The Draa River Valley stretches for over 1,100 kilometers, making it the longest river system in Morocco. This valley forms a green ribbon of life cutting through arid landscapes, with thousands of palm trees, traditional clay villages, and ancient kasbahs lining its path. For centuries, it was one of the main caravan routes connecting sub-Saharan Africa to the Mediterranean world. 42. Morocco has one of the world's largest phosphate reserves. Morocco sits on top of about 70% of the world's known phosphate reserves, a resource essential for global agriculture and fertilizer production. This makes Morocco a critical geographic player in world food supply. Vast phosphate mines near Karibga stretch for kilometers underground, forming one of the largest mining infrastructures on the planet. 41. The Sahara in Morocco was once an ocean. Millions of years ago, large parts of southeastern Morocco were covered by an ancient ocean. Today, this is revealed in places like Erfoud and Rissani, where the desert is filled with perfectly preserved marine fossils. You can find fossilized shells, trilobites, and even ancient fish embedded directly into desert rocks and mountains. 40. Morocco has a stone forest in the desert. Near the town of Tafra Out, massive granite rock formations rise from the ground, forming what looks like a natural stone forest. These strange pink and orange boulders were sculpted by wind and erosion over millions of years, creating balancing rocks and surreal natural sculptures scattered across the Anti-Atlas Mountains. 39. The Tadra Gorge walls rise over 300 meters high. The Tadra Gorge is a dramatic canyon with limestone walls that reach heights of more than 300 meters, 980 feet. In some sections, the gorge narrows to just 10 meters wide, with a shallow river flowing through the middle. This has made it one of the most visually striking natural landmarks in North Africa. 38. Morocco's deserts can experience flash floods. Even the driest parts of Morocco can suddenly flood. When rare rainstorms hit the Atlas Mountains, water rushes through dry riverbeds called wadis, turning them into violent flash floods in a matter of minutes. This extreme contrast is why traditional desert villages are often built on higher ground, away from these dangerous channels. 37. The Souss Valley is one of Morocco's most fertile regions. Despite its proximity to desert zones, the Souss Valley, near Agadir, is one of Morocco's most productive agricultural regions. Its geography allows underground rivers and fertile soil to support massive orange groves, olive farms, and argan tree forests. The valley acts like a green corridor between the mountains and the ocean. 36. Morocco has active sand dunes that move during the year. The sand dunes in places like Merzouga are not stationary. The wind constantly shifts them, causing dunes to move several meters per year. Some dunes can even produce a strange humming or booming sound when sand grains slide together under the right conditions, a phenomenon known as singing sand. 35. The Rif Mountains are geologically separate from the Atlas. The Rif Mountains in northern Morocco are not part of the Atlas system. Geologically, they are actually connected to the mountain chains of southern Spain. This makes the Rif a unique tectonic bridge between Africa and Europe, shaped by the slow collision of the two continents over millions of years. 34. Lake Dayet Shrij is a seasonal pink flamingo habitat. Near the city of Azrou, Lake Dayet Shrij becomes a temporary home for thousands of migrating flamingos. The lake appears and disappears depending on seasonal rainfall, transforming from dry land into a vibrant wetland filled with birds and aquatic life that can be seen only at certain times of the year. 33. Morocco has one of the largest artificial deserts in Africa. The Youssef Ben Takfine Dam and other large water projects have created artificial desert-like zones where water diversion changed natural ecosystems. In some southern regions, once green areas have gradually turned into arid landscapes, showing how modern geography can be reshaped by human engineering. 32. The Ouzud waterfalls are among the tallest in North Africa. The Ouzud waterfalls drop more than 110 meters, 360 feet, in a series of cascading tiers, making them the most powerful and dramatic waterfalls in Morocco. Located in the Middle Atlas region, the area around the falls creates its own microclimate, with lush vegetation and wild Barbary macaque monkeys living in the surrounding forests. 31. Morocco's coastline changes shape every year. Due to powerful Atlantic currents and seasonal storms, Morocco's western coastline is constantly being reshaped. Beaches naturally expand and shrink, cliffs erode, and new sandbars appear every year. Places like Essaouira are famous for their winds, which continuously sculpt the shoreline and surrounding landscapes. 30. The ancient Roman city of Volubilis holds Morocco's earliest urban footprints. Nestled near Meknes, the ruins of Volubilis stand as one of Morocco's most extraordinary archaeological sites. Once a thriving Roman city over 2,000 years ago, Volubilis was a hub of administration, trade, and agriculture at the edge of the empire. Its streets were lined with intricate mosaics, grand basilicas, and expansive olive presses that illustrate Roman ingenuity. What makes Volubilis fascinating is not only its preservation, but also how it integrates with Moroccan history. After the Romans, the site remained inhabited by local Berber tribes, blending Roman architecture with indigenous culture. Visitors today can walk along ancient stone roads, peer into remnants of bathhouses, and imagine the life of a city that once connected Europe and Africa through trade and culture. 29. Morocco's coastal cliffs are among the highest in Africa. Along the Atlantic coast, cliffs rise dramatically, especially near Legzira Beach and Cap Spartel. At certain points, the rock formations tower over 100 meters above the crashing waves, sculpted by millennia of wind and sea erosion. These cliffs aren't just scenic, they've historically served as natural fortresses, hiding ancient ports and lookout points. In Legzira, the famous red sandstone arches, partially collapsed in recent years, demonstrate the constant battle between nature and time. The cliffs also create unique microhabitats for seabirds, rare plants, and even marine life that thrive in the nutrient-rich waters below, making them a geographic marvel with ecological significance. 28. Morocco hosts the largest traditional markets in Africa. Morocco's souks are not only cultural centers but also geographic hubs of trade, often sprawling across entire medinas. In Marrakesh, the Gemma El Fana Square becomes a pulsating hive of commerce, music, and storytelling. Spices, textiles, ceramics, and jewelry flood narrow streets that twist like a labyrinth, reflecting centuries of trade routes from sub-Saharan Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. The physical layout of these markets is fascinating. They follow ancient urban planning adapted to the geography, using shaded alleys, fountains, and elevated terraces to manage heat, wind, and rain. Beyond commerce, souks function as living museums where the geography of space and people intertwines with centuries of cultural exchange. 27. The Dades Gorge is known as the Valley of 1,000 Kasbahs. Stretching along the Atlas Mountains, the Dades Gorge features dramatic cliffs, winding roads, and a network of ancient kasbahs that rise like stone sentinels. The geography here is extreme. Deep valleys cut by rivers create fertile strips of farmland, while towering rock faces dominate the skyline. Each kasbah, built from local mud and stone, tells a story of tribal defense, trade, and adaptation to the harsh mountain environment. Travelers marvel at how these structures blend seamlessly with the landscape, a testament to the ingenuity of the Berber people. The gorge's curves and shadows change throughout the day, making it a photographer's paradise and a geographic spectacle that highlights Morocco's rugged natural beauty. 26. Morocco's underground water systems are a desert lifeline. In southern Morocco, ancient Qattara or Couanat systems, ingeniously engineered underground aqueducts, channel water from mountains to desert settlements. These subterranean channels, some stretching for several kilometers, allow villages to flourish in regions where surface water is scarce. The Qattaras demonstrate how geography and engineering intersect. By digging underground, Moroccans avoid evaporation while maintaining a steady water supply for agriculture and livestock. This practice, which dates back over a millennium, is a living example of human adaptation to Morocco's varied and often harsh landscapes, proving that geography has always dictated the rhythm of life. 25. The Erg Chebi Dunes produce singing sands. The Golden Dunes near Merzouga, part of the Erg Chebi Desert, are famous not only for their immense size, but also for a rare natural phenomenon known as singing sand. When the wind shifts or when sand slides down the dunes, it creates a deep humming or booming sound. This is caused by friction between sand grains under extremely dry conditions, and the sound can travel for miles, echoing through the desert valleys. The dunes themselves are constantly shifting, rising, and falling over time, which makes navigation challenging and adds to the sense of isolation. For travelers and locals alike, this interplay between wind, sand, and sound creates an almost mystical experience, a geographic spectacle that is uniquely Moroccan. 24. The Blue Pearl of Morocco, Chefchaouen, sits in the Rif Mountains. Perched in the Rif Mountains, Chefchaouen's narrow blue-painted streets and mountainous backdrop are a geographic and aesthetic marvel. The town is located in a valley that collects moisture from mountain winds, making it unexpectedly lush compared to surrounding arid regions. Historically, the town's elevated position allowed it to resist invasions and function as a refuge for Jewish and Muslim exiles. Today, the combination of its unique topography, rich vegetation, and signature blue walls draws photographers and travelers worldwide. The city's geography, paired with human creativity, has created a location where environment and culture are inseparable. 23. The Ouarzazate region is a gateway between mountains and desert. Known as the door to the desert, Ouarzazate sits at the edge of the High Atlas Mountains and the Sahara. Its geographic position has made it a hub for travelers, traders, and filmmakers seeking dramatic landscapes. The city itself is surrounded by kasbahs, barren plains, and rocky outcrops that contrast sharply with the snow-capped mountains just a short drive away. This location has earned it the nickname Hollywood of Morocco, as its landscapes mimic deserts and mountains worldwide. The geographic diversity of Ouarzazate illustrates Morocco's remarkable range. Snow, desert, and dramatic rock formations coexist within a few hours of each other. 22. The Anti-Atlas Mountains are older than the Atlas Mountains. While the Atlas Mountains often steal the spotlight, the Anti-Atlas Range is geologically much older, formed over 500 million years ago. Stretching from the southern deserts to the Atlantic coast, these mountains feature rounded, worn peaks and bizarre rock formations shaped by erosion. The Anti-Atlas also contains fossils of prehistoric marine life, evidence that these peaks were once under the ocean. Villages built in valleys and plateaus demonstrate human adaptation to this rugged terrain, and traditional terraces carved into the slopes show how agriculture has persisted for centuries despite harsh conditions. The Anti-Atlas is a living museum of Morocco's geological past. 21. Morocco's climate zones vary dramatically in short distances. One of Morocco's most remarkable geographic features is the extreme variation in climate over short distances. In just a few hours, travelers can move from Mediterranean forests in the north to snow-covered Atlas peaks, and then descend into Saharan deserts in the south. These transitions create diverse ecosystems, including cedar forests with Barbary macaques, fertile valleys with citrus orchards, and arid plains dotted with oasis towns. This variety affects everything from agriculture and wildlife to architecture and lifestyle, shaping a country where geography dictates culture, travel, and economic patterns in ways few other nations can match. 20. Marrakech's geography made it a trading powerhouse. Nestled at the foothills of the High Atlas Mountains, Marrakech has been a geographic crossroads for centuries. Its location allowed it to serve as a hub connecting the Sahara with northern Morocco, Europe, and sub-Saharan Africa. Caravans of salt, gold, and spices passed through its bustling markets, shaping the city into a melting pot of Berber, Arab, and Andalusian cultures. The surrounding mountains also provided natural protection against invaders, while feeding rivers and irrigation systems that made agriculture possible in the nearby plains. Today, the combination of geography and human ingenuity continues to define Marrakech, with its medina, palaces, and gardens harmonizing perfectly with the surrounding landscape. 19. The Sahara Desert hosts hidden fossil treasures. The Moroccan Sahara isn't just sand, it is a window into Earth's ancient past. Regions like Erfoud and Tafilalt are rich in fossils, including prehistoric fish, trilobites, and marine invertebrates embedded in limestone and sandstone. Millions of years ago, this land was covered by a vast ocean, and tectonic shifts gradually transformed it into desert. Local guides often take travelers on fossil hunting excursions, showing how the geography preserves evidence of ancient ecosystems. These fossils are not only scientifically valuable, but also visually striking, turning desert exploration into a journey through both space and time. 18. The Tadra Gorge is a geological masterpiece. Located in the eastern High Atlas, the Tadra Gorge features sheer limestone walls rising over 300 meters. Rivers carved these narrow canyons over millions of years, creating one of Morocco's most dramatic natural spectacles. The gorge is also home to fertile terraces where Berber farmers cultivate vegetables and fruits, showcasing human adaptation to extreme geography. Climbers and hikers are drawn to Tadra for its vertical walls, while photographers and filmmakers capture its ever-changing light and shadows. Beyond its visual impact, the gorge serves as a symbol of Morocco's complex terrain, where mountains, rivers, and human settlements coexist in a delicate balance. 17. The Rif Mountains host unique flora and fauna. The Rif Mountains in northern Morocco are biologically and geographically unique. This range, separate from the Atlas, stretches toward the Mediterranean and contains ecosystems rarely seen elsewhere in Africa. Dense cedar and cork oak forests provide habitats for rare species, including the Barbary macaque, which is native to North Africa. The mountain's elevation and proximity to the sea create a humid microclimate that allows plants typical of temperate Europe to thrive. Geography here directly impacts biodiversity, illustrating how mountains act as natural sanctuaries for wildlife while influencing human settlement patterns in northern Morocco. 16. The Draa Valley is a lush corridor in a harsh landscape. Flowing from the high Atlas to the edge of the Sahara, the Draa River creates one of Morocco's most fertile valleys. This green corridor is dotted with thousands of date palms, traditional adobe villages, and fortified kasbahs. The geography of the valley is remarkable. Surrounded by desert plains, the river provides life to both people and animals, while its ancient irrigation systems demonstrate sophisticated adaptation to semi-arid conditions. Caravans once relied on this valley as a passageway, making it a key geographic and economic artery connecting remote Saharan settlements to the wider world. 15. The Anti-Atlas Mountains preserve millennia of history. Older than the Atlas Mountains themselves, the Anti-Atlas are a geological and historical treasure. Their rugged slopes contain evidence of ancient marine life, tectonic shifts, and early human settlement. Villages clinging to the mountain's sides demonstrate centuries-old agricultural techniques adapted to rocky terrain. Travelers can find prehistoric rock art, ancient caravan routes, and fossilized corals embedded in the stone. The Anti-Atlas highlight how Morocco's geography has shaped both natural evolution and human culture, making the mountains a living archive of time, geology, and ingenuity. 14. Morocco's coastal winds sculpt its landscapes. The Atlantic coast is subject to powerful winds and ocean currents that constantly reshape beaches, cliffs, and dunes. Cities like Essaouira have harnessed these winds for centuries, using them to protect harbors, dry fish, and even power traditional mills. Wind patterns also influence agriculture, driving the spread of certain crops while making other areas inhospitable. This dynamic interplay between wind, water, and sand creates ever-changing landscapes, highlighting Morocco's ability to adapt human settlements and infrastructure to its shifting geography. The coast becomes a living laboratory of environmental engineering and natural beauty. 13. Ouarzazate, desert gateway and filmmaker's paradise. The city of Ouarzazate, situated between the High Atlas and the Sahara, is often called the Hollywood of Morocco. Its geographic position provides sweeping desert vistas, rocky plateaus, and nearby kasbahs that have served as backdrops for hundreds of international films. The combination of sun, desert, and mountainous terrain creates dramatic lighting and landscapes ideal for cinema. Beyond filmmaking, Ouarzazate is also a historic trade hub where desert routes converge, illustrating how geography influenced both cultural and economic development in southern Morocco. 12. Morocco's caves reveal a hidden underground world. Morocco contains extensive cave systems, particularly in limestone regions like the Middle Atlas and Rif Mountains. These caves are rich in both geological formations and archaeological finds, including prehistoric tools and fossils. Stalactites, stalagmites, and underground rivers create natural wonders, while many caves hold local legends and spiritual significance. Their formation is tied directly to Morocco's geology. Water slowly dissolves limestone over millennia, carving hidden landscapes beneath the surface. Caves like these provide insights into climate history, geology, and human adaptation to subterranean spaces. 11. The Sahara's Erg Chigaga is a true desert adventure. Farther south than Merzouga, Erg Chigaga represents the ultimate Moroccan desert experience. Unlike more accessible dunes, Chigaga is vast, remote, and untouched by mass tourism. Its massive sand seas extend for over 40 kilometers, with dunes shifting constantly under the desert wind. The geography here is extreme. Daytime temperatures soar, while nights can be freezing. Nomadic tribes have navigated this terrain for centuries, relying on stars, landmarks, and intuition. Visitors to Erg Chigaga experience the full scale of Morocco's desert geography, from endless horizons to the serene isolation that only such a massive landscape can provide. Before moving on to the top 10, remember to join the geography family by subscribing to the channel and leaving your like. 10. Morocco's cedar forests are ecologically unique. The Middle Atlas is home to dense Atlas cedar forests, which form one of North Africa's most important ecosystems. These forests are a refuge for the endangered Barbary macaque, the only primate species north of the Sahara, and contain plant species found nowhere else in the world. The geography, elevated plateaus with sufficient rainfall, allows these forests to thrive amidst surrounding arid landscapes. The cedar forests also provide essential resources for local communities, from firewood to medicinal plants, demonstrating how geography and ecology are deeply intertwined in Morocco's mountainous regions. 9. The Tizi-Natichka Pass connects north and south. The Tizi-Natichka Pass is one of Morocco's most famous mountain roads, rising to 2,260 meters in the high Atlas. This winding passage has historically connected Marrakech with southern regions and desert oases. Its geography is both challenging and breathtaking. Hairpin turns, steep cliffs, and snow-capped peaks create a dramatic transit corridor. For centuries, the pass enabled trade, migration, and cultural exchange between the fertile north and the desert south. Today, it also attracts adventure travelers and photographers eager to witness Morocco's dramatic terrain from a high vantage point. 8. Morocco's Argane tree forests are a unique geographic feature. The semi-arid Souss Valley hosts the unique argan tree found almost nowhere else on Earth. These trees are perfectly adapted to Morocco's harsh geography, with deep roots stabilizing soil and allowing survival in drought-prone areas. Locals harvest the nuts to produce argan oil, a globally valued product. The argan forests also serve as a habitat for endemic species and prevent desertification. Geography and human activity intersect here in a sustainable way, creating a living example of adaptation and resource management in challenging environments. 7. The Mediterranean coast hosts important wetlands. Northern Morocco's Mediterranean coast is dotted with wetlands such as Merja Zerga and Canifis Lagoon, which serve as critical stopovers for migratory birds. These wetlands are a result of coastal geography, including river deltas, shallow lagoons, and tidal flats. They provide habitats for flamingos, storks, and other rare species, making the area a biodiversity hotspot. Human settlements here have historically relied on fishing and salt extraction, showing how geography directly shapes both ecosystems and livelihoods. 6. The High Atlas Mountains are a geological barrier and climate moderator. The High Atlas Mountains stretch across Morocco, forming a natural barrier that separates the temperate north from the arid south. Snow-capped peaks feed rivers that nourish valleys and plains, creating pockets of fertile land amidst otherwise dry regions. The mountain's geography affects rainfall patterns, wind currents, and temperature zones, making them crucial for agriculture and water supply. They also provide protection against desert sandstorms and historically served as natural defense against invaders, showing how physical geography can shape both climate and human history. 5. Morocco's kasbahs reflect a marriage of geography and architecture. Scattered across the desert and mountains, kasbahs are fortified structures built from local earth and stone. Their locations were carefully chosen based on geography, overlooking valleys, guarding oases, or sitting at trade crossroads. These buildings demonstrate how Moroccans adapted architecture to the environment, creating defenses against floods, sandstorms, and enemies while maintaining comfortable living spaces. Famous kasbahs like Ait Ben Haddou are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, illustrating the interplay of geography, culture, and design. 4. The desert oases are lifelines in harsh landscapes. Oases like Tafilalt and Skoura are geographic marvels where water reaches the surface in the middle of arid regions. These fertile spots allow the cultivation of dates, grains, and vegetables and have supported human settlement for centuries. Oases serve as stops for caravans and hubs for culture, blending desert survival strategies with agriculture. The way these green pockets punctuate vast stretches of desert highlights the critical role geography plays in human habitation and economic activity in Morocco. 3. Morocco's geology includes ancient volcanic activity. Morocco's terrain is shaped not only by erosion but also by ancient volcanic activity, especially in the Middle and Anti-Atlas Mountains. Volcanic rock layers, basalt flows, and extinct craters contribute to soil fertility and unique geological formations. These features influence agriculture, settlement patterns, and natural resources. The volcanic landscapes also attract hikers, geologists, and photographers eager to witness the raw power of Earth's geological history preserved in Morocco's mountains and plateaus. 2. Morocco's Sahara hosts migratory bird corridors. Despite the harsh desert conditions, the Moroccan Sahara is a critical corridor for migratory birds traveling between Europe and Africa. Wetlands, seasonal lakes, and rivers within the desert provide temporary habitats for species such as flamingos, storks, and herons. The geography of the desert, vast plains interrupted by dunes, canyons, and oases, creates a mosaic of habitats essential for survival. This shows how even the harshest environments are integrated into global ecological systems, emphasizing the geographic significance of Morocco's southern regions. 1. Morocco is one of the most geographically diverse countries in Africa. From snow-capped peaks to vast deserts, from Atlantic beaches to Mediterranean wetlands, Morocco's geography is astonishingly diverse. In less than a day's drive, one can experience multiple climates, ecosystems, and landscapes. This diversity has shaped human settlement, culture, agriculture, and trade for millennia. It has also made Morocco a living laboratory for understanding the relationship between geography and society. Whether it's the High Atlas, the Sahara, the Rif Mountains, or the fertile river valleys, Morocco's land tells the story of nature's power, human adaptation, and the endless interplay between environment and civilization. Now that you know these 50 facts about Morocco, tell us, which one did you like the most or which one surprised you the most? We'd love to read your opinion in the comments and see how many of us picked the same number. And something else many of us will probably agree on is watching the video I'm leaving on screen, because we all love sharing and learning interesting facts, and that's exactly what this video is all about. But before you watch it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Otherwise, we might not see each other again.